hey everybody. Here we are, playing D&D on a Wednesday
That's
night.
a thing we do now.
Yeah, sometimes. It's something we used to do. It's something we used to do pretty often.
Remember when we played D&D? Remember when there were 6 games a week? Oh, I
That
remember.
Rich Farm remembers.
Oh, God.
Remember Reach.
As you can see, we don't need to fuck with the cameras this week. But we also don't have a Scarlet. Big sad. As Emmy said.
You lost Scarlet, but gained sadness.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. How is everyone out there in Twitch land? It's been a little while. It's been at least a week. I think it's been a week. I don't know. Time goes by real clunkily now.
Yeah, I don't have a D&D game every day of the week to measure what day it is.
We're going to play the Danse Macabre tonight. It's our dark gothic CW show.
Well, that's one way to put it.
It is much like Riverdale. This is the CW version of Scooby-Doo.
It's very Days of Our Lives.
There is definitely not a show on the CW that's like Scooby-Doo and has even had a Scooby-Doo crossover that we might have something tangentially related to.
Well, now's your opportunity to pitch it to a CW executive. We're gonna reboot Scooby-Doo, but with adults playing teens, and it's gonna be dark.
It's gonna be dark. Shaggy's now a hardcore opiate user.
He's just a heroin addict. I guess they technically had that show on the CW too, if you think about it. David, what was the show with the people who they took over people that died? Remember they were like from the future and they took over people that were dying?
The Tomorrow People?
I don't remember.
I think it's the 4400, but they're rebooting that for the CW. They haven't done it yet.
No, the 4400, it's people who get stolen throughout various points in history and taken into the future, and then they all get dropped back at the same point, and there's 4400 of them, and then some of them have superpowers. And the show's really good for one season, and then it goes deep into the post 9/11 we can't trust the government style conspiracy and gets really bad.
The one I'm
Is
thinking
it The
of
Departed? Or something towards that.
The one I'm thinking of is like all these people from the future. Like the future has gone through an apocalypse or whatever, and they invent a machine. There is a machine that is invented in the present day that goes on to become like a super AI effectively, and the machine transmits consciousnesses of people backwards in time to people who at the moment they die, right? So like the person inside dies and the consciousness like takes over their body basically. And they go on living these people's lives. Well, one of the people's a heroin addict, so you were like, yeah, Shaggy's got a real opiate problem. It's like, I think the CW already did that.
It's probably not the Tomorrow People then, because the Tomorrow People was a reboot of the rip-off version of Doctor Who that aired on ITV that was the same kind of sci-fi-ish concept, but instead it's about like contemporary kids in the modern day who start developing telekinetic powers, and they have to team up against the evil government. And it was really, really bad, even in contrast to Doctor Who. And classic Doctor Who was often pretty kind of garbage. And they basically went, hey, here's this IP that hasn't been used in decades. Let's put, like, Stephen Amell's younger brother or cousin or something as the lead in this show because Arrow's doing so well.
Oh, it was sci-fi, and the show was called Travelers. I'm sorry. I literally just put Netflix show time travel, and it showed up. I was like, God damn it.
They also did the reboot of V. Do you remember that?
Oh.
I thought that was
where they put
BBC.
Marina Backer in it right after Firefly ended, and it was like, oh, you know, that's a hot property. People are going to want to follow her to watch this show. And it's like, yeah, we would have if it was any good.
I think they revealed the entire plot in like episode 1. It's like, okay, well,
You don't need
Well-
to have a good show for people to watch it. Look at
Just
reality
look at Meredith
television.
Right.
No, in the history of sci-fi shows, that is remarkably true. Most people who are fans of sci-fi will watch some hot garbage and desperately keep it on the air, going like, "Please, we know you want to cancel it, but we need this." Slider's got
Supernatural?
5 series.
Supernatural is what, 13 or 14?
Yeah, it's something ridiculous.
Like 16, I think. 16? 15, maybe. But yeah, like longer than it should have. 3 times when they ran out of ideas.
Anyway, I think we do this thing where we play this role-playing game. Let's.
I'm trying to come up with clever town names for Emmy. She said she wants something that screams bottom bitches. I
Supernatural.
said she could call it featureless. I don't know. I also told her she could call it Cat Got Your Thumbs. Kind of like Bird in Hand PA, but Cat Got Your Thumbs Oregon. I'm sorry, we can't start a D&D game without, without making fun of Emmy beforehand. Like, I'm sorry?
Catchersville?
Catchersville. Oh my god. You could just name the town Sewers, and the Dark and Hungry God crew will be sure to go there at some point.
Oh yeah, are we gonna keep roasting people? Or?
I've been rewatching the campaign over from the beginning, and in hindsight, Mirth's initial plan during the heist was to pretend to be a member of the city sanitation department. So I blame him.
Absolutely.
He willed it into existence.
Luna would not die. Okay, Luna has survived multiple sewers at this point, but she's never been in a Grove Air sewer, which is clearly where clerics in Orden go to die.
They're the shittiest of all sewers. No, you don't understand.
All right.
Garno didn't take the biggest shit.
Johnny!
Grove Air didn't take the biggest shit. It is the biggest shit.
Good lord. Johnny, that's amazing. Is that real?
City in Honduras with a population of 5,000 people.
The name of the town is Coxen Hole. Coxen Hole. Alright. Well, god damn it. Bun walked away. When Bun gets back, we'll actually start.
To be fair, Luna did go down in the fight with the Aboleth that happened down in the sewers, and she only didn't die because Angus ran over and gave her a healing potion.
Wait a minute. Characters making character decisions that might be good decisions in combat? In a sewer?
That doesn't happen. But what?
I mean, I did consider giving a potion of heroism to Serrani to boost his already ridiculous AC, but decided no. Keeping the healer alive is probably a better idea.
It's a good idea.
Potions of heroism just bestow bless for an hour. It's amazing. They're fucking godlike.
Hey guys, let's play D&D. Why don't you guys introduce yourselves and your characters, and we'll start playing it instead of talking about it.
Mm-hmm. Well, if I'm going first, I am Bun, and I am playing the 12th level Divination Wizard, Simic hybrid known as Archie, the ungodly spawn of the deluded matron of Ice. They escaped the Underdark, seeking the meaning of their own visions and dreams. To warn those of the waking world of the eternal night that encroaches upon them. The lights of this world flicker out one by one, but the new stars have a way of blooming into the night. And from new stars, new dreams can be made, and new dreams Archie shall weave together with the dance. Scar's not here, so I think it's Johnny?
It is.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm Johnny Maximilian, a level 6 Oath of Treachery Paladin and level 6 Divine Soul Sorcerer. Everyone else here is not a human. I'm the only human in our team. Max is the nephew of the patrons of the Danse Macabre, Lord Arthur and Lady Beatrice. And he is trying to move up into that ladder and try to become, I don't know, a leader of some sort. Who knows what will happen with Max. And yeah.
Y'all know me. My name is Pat. I play John Anders, Father John Anders, the Fighter 1 Arcana Cleric 11 Asamar in the dance. I've already given so much. 'Tis but a pity I only have my life to give. Father John Anders is the stalwart guardian of the Beacon Hill Tame of the Danse Macabre. Apprentice as a blacksmith in the Church of Thormodon, John serves as the moral compass, forge master, and divine guide for the dance. After his reunion with his younger brother Oliver, once thought lost in the darkness, John seeks to find his sister Jillian, help Lumiere find peace, and to see justice brought to the things crawling in the dark. With the help of his innocent pseudo-dragon Astor and the ever-graceful Lady Verdigris, John hopes to secure peace for himself and for Ravenreach, and with Thormodon's tempering, shepherd the wayward Danse Macabre in this hour of darkness.
And I'm David. I play Carson Clayguard. He is a half-elf blood hunter, a veteran of the dance, away from Ravenreach for a number of years, seeking information about the things that stalk in the night. Receiving a sending from Lucian, the dance's resident librarian and scholar, warning him of dark events that were taking place in the city, he has returned to lend aid to the Beacon Hill team in this, their most desperate hour.
I'm the Mark Knight. I am your dungeon master. And I hope that the team continues to riff on other people's intros, because I think it's super fun. It should keep going. The last we left off, the dance had a confrontation with their missing member, Theo, and have him locked in his former bedroom, bound and gagged and not having a good time. That evening, when we had left off, John was collecting his things in his rooms. Maximilian John, I don't even know if Johnny can hear me right now.
I think he has his headphones off.
He does.
You Gucci Mane?
Johnny. Still can't. God damn it! God damn it, Maximilian! Damn it, Maximilian! Keep your headphones on!
Died.
Oh, good lord. Johnny, what was Maximilian doing after he bound and gagged Theo in his bed?
The thing that Max is going to do while Theo is unconscious is I'm going to enlist Carson, if he's willing, to basically strip his room of all of the magical books about necromancy. Not giving him an opportunity to cast any more necromancy, and having telling Lucian, like, hey, Theo's banned from the library now.
Take away his library card.
Okay.
And stripping the room of anything that can be used as a material component. I'm not giving him an opportunity to cast necromancy.
Okay. So you tie him up, you bind him, and you've got him gagged. He is unconscious, and you go to find Lucian in the library. Okay.
Or Carson.
Where, I don't remember where Carson or Archie are. at this point.
Carson had returned to his room to sort of clean up after the wound falling on his red aggressive fashion. So it's for the moment just getting that cleaned up.
You are cutting out
Yeah,
Yeah, you're a
really
little bit-
bad, David.
Yeah, you might need to speak more directly towards the mic. Yeah.
Oh, thank God! I thought it was just me.
Is that better?
Yes.
Yeah.
Much.
Yes, much better.
Okay, yeah. Carson has gone back to his room to clean up his old wound after it reopened when he activated his Rite of the Dawn in a very aggressive fashion.
That's correct. I remember that.
And so it's just getting that all cleaned up and tended to. So yeah, it would just be sort of in like the washroom off to one side of the room that he has set up in.
Okay. And Archie?
I think Archie's just standing outside the door to Theo's room, just wondering what to do.
Okay. Over the next couple of hours that Theo is unconscious, you grab Lucian and find Carson in his rooms.
Could I enlist your help, Carson, for one more thing regarding Thea?
Yes, with you in a moment. Just it's gonna like consciously try to like call upon his power, have like the wound almost like atrophy over as it just gabs rapidly. It's like dabs away with a hand towel, like the last little bits of it. It will be tender for a while, but that should keep it.
Imagine Carson doing this in candlelight, so when Max steps in, the room is barely visible. When I collect people that can help identify artifacts or necromancy books, and with Archie there, and Lucian there, and Carson there, I'm going to ask everyone, if you could help me. One of the first things we can do to prevent Theo from ever being a necromancer again is to deprive him of the books that where he sources his wisdom and his intelligence on the subject. So this is his room, and we're not going to let him into the blood room in Weston Court. But yeah, we're anything that you think can be a material component to necromancy or a book that he can use for research. We're going to stop it here and now. And then I'm just going to start stripping the bookshelves of his room.
Okay. Over the course of the next couple of hours, you remove anything that you believe would be used for the purposes of necromancy from the presence of the unconscious Theo.
And
Go ahead.
as we're working, Max is sort of mumbling to himself, but thinking out his thought process out loud for other people to hear. Thinking about Theo, and he's saying out loud, necromancy was only ever a means to an end for Theo. I think that he only ever took it up as an interest, not for selfish purpose, to gain power or dominion over other people, but so that he could bring back his wife. So if we bring back his wife, it'll remove any impetus for him to want to continue with necromancy because his goal would have been achieved. And then
we can't do that. Yeah. Oh wait. Sorry. Is Are we near this? No, my bad.
I know you said you gathered Lucian
Carson.
and Carson.
Yeah, but I feel like we'd be here long enough that if John
No,
were
I'm
to,
still at the. I'm still at
I'm
the.
doing something else right now. Sorry.
oh, okay,
Where are you, Archie?
okay,
I'm at the room. I haven't gone in. I'm just at the door.
Okay.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I'm just thinking out loud. Like, if we remove Meridia as a factor, we'll remove his will to practice necromancy. And then I look at Theo's unconscious form, like determined, like you're not going to practice necromancy again, and we're going to remove the reason for you to.
I am not unfamiliar with the process of grief. The death of Jarvis, it destroyed my father. He was never the same afterwards. I always felt like a disappointment. For a number of years there, I would have done anything to bring him back. To see that old smile on my father's face. But I learned, and I believe, that there is a natural order to the world, and that while death is painful and often unfair, that there needs to be a careful application of power when it comes to bringing people back. Those in the clergy, those who make contact with the gods, they understand when it is appropriate and when bringing somebody back might just cause deeper rifts and further pain. I can sympathize with the idea that if Meridia were to be returned to him, Theo would lose any and all incentive to practice necromancy. My concern is that it might give validation to others, that they would come to him seeking the same when they experience loss. If there is somebody with that capability and they are known, and they are not an institution such as the gods themselves where they cannot be questioned, it opens up troubling possibilities for the way that people can do foolish things when they are grieving. I would be afraid for Theo himself at the hands of those to whom he would have to say no.
Lucky for us, we have Thondra as a stopgap.
I have to side with Carson on this.
I know, but
we've given Theo chance after chance after chance, and he's attacked. I don't think this is a charm. I don't think there was anything. I saw how Lumiere was. This is not like Lumiere. This is just.
I'd like to at least try before we resort to our final option. I'd rather try this and fail than go to that option. But to Carson's point, maybe the dead. It would be the dead's choice to choose whether they come back or not. Maybe we'll fail in that if we do kill Meridia, she'll want to stay in Thondra's embrace. Just has to live with it. If we perform, there's always the possibility that we find a means, maybe with John through Thormodin, that we are able to perform a resurrection with Meridia, with Theo present, and she just chooses not to come back. And he has to live with that. But I'd like to at least try.
I don't know if it's our place to tamper with. Curing vampirism, is that even achievable, Carson?
It's complicated. I have not read anything as such, but if I understand the basic principles, should she be killed, her soul would be placed into the afterlife in a manner in which conventional resurrection by a divine caster could be possible. My concern is more of a moral one. Would that
exactly.
Would it be
think-
just to restore to life a monster that has sustained herself for who knows how many years on the lifeblood of innocent victims?
Not only that, but then we are playing gods at that point. We are ordaining who lives and who dies, and not leaving it up to the fates.
This is not a matter of deciding who lives and who dies. Each of us has sworn an oath to lay down our lives to preserve people. What is that if not playing with life and death? Like I said, my concern is more... I do not wish to reward utter devotion to one's loved ones in the face of moral concerns. If Meridia has been a vampiress, then she has certainly drunk from the living and sustained herself as such for a significant stretch of time. To reunite her with Theo would be, to some degree, a good, but if it comes at the expense of however many people have died by her hand, are they not deserving of the same chance to be returned to those who love them, those who have grieved for them?
That's true, but
this is why, Archie, I can understand, especially in light of what Theo did to me earlier, that you have misgivings about enchantment magic, that to weave with the mind and people's emotions is to toy with them. But necromancy does the same.
Well, sorry. I don't want to interrupt.
It might not have been Meridia's choice. You remember Kurt? You were teammates once. Addressing Kurt. Kurt is a former dead member of the Danse.
Yeah. David is fully aware of all the...
I think David is fully aware of Kurt.
I read the report. I read what you did.
He was turned into a vampire against his will.
And I would expect you to do the same to me, should it happen. That
But
is a
Meridia
choice that she could have made. If there were not one of you here to see to my end, I would like to think that were I made into a thrall or a spawn of a being like that, that I would have enough conviction to walk into the light of Orad and meet the embrace of it, even if it should mean my own end. I
believe that.
I will quite literally give of my own life's blood, if it will. Help keep those I care about safe. But I would not wish to become a leech.
This is all good, but we're all dancing around with him.
Did you say, what do we do with him?
Yeah.
The first thing we should, prior to deciding what we do with him, we should kill Meridia. Whatever option we have still ends with that option.
While you're having this conversation and removing things from Theo's room, John, there is a knock on your door. as you are packing things into a travel sack.
What? Who is it?
Father John?
Oh, yeah. Hey, kid. What do you need? Come on in.
Angelica steps lightly into your room.
Sorry, I'm in the middle of packing a few things.
Are we going somewhere?
I
Is there a
might be.
mission? That's not why. I saw Master Theo carried in by Maximilian. What's going on?
More than I care to talk about. When I met you, when you were in Darkhaven,
Yes.
studying with Joy and with Mother O'Galvin, what did they teach you?
A lot about respecting the dead. And they spoke of Thondra. Why?
Did they tell you what happens when you don't respect the dead?
I saw it firsthand in what was done to that hag.
Then you understand the moral ramifications. What made you choose not to be a necromancer anymore? You were so set on following in Theodore's footsteps. What changed? You seemed happier when you decided that you didn't want to do it anymore.
Well, it was the many conversations with all of you. Our conversations about the dangers. And I saw Master Theo wanted me to be careful as well. And I saw more and more of who Master Theo was, and I wanted to be different in some ways.
Well, those chickens have come home to roost. I don't think I'm going to be welcome here very much longer. I think I'm heading to Twyland Hill.
I don't understand. If I can be welcome here, why would you not be welcome here? Lady B and Lord Arthur are asking you to leave.
No. I am probably going to leave voluntarily. I have found myself at odds with the ethics of the Beacon Hill team over your master, your former master. Angelica, we are probably going to have to kill Theo.
He's become like them. Like that woman that was burned at the stake. Hasn't he?
In his worst moments, yes. And it is growing by the day. He took on a form of undeath, which you were not present to see. He has given himself over to the very things with which we hunt. And there are excuses. So many excuses. Lady Verdigris seems to think that he may be under the effects of his wife's supernatural abilities. I don't have any more ideas. Strange as it seems, kid, I'm asking you for help. I don't know what to ask Theo, what to tell him anymore, because he does not seem much to care for help.
I want to talk to him before that happens.
Are you sure?
This is my fault.
In what way? You haven't done anything. Look, only Theo's responsible for Theo.
But when I the book that brought me to train with Master Theo. And she kind of grips her bag a little tighter. My first spell book. It belonged to him a long time ago.
I guess every wizard gets their start somewhere.
She gave it to me.
She. Meridia?
Yes. She found me in the graveyard. The one...
Why were you in the graveyard, Angelica?
I like graveyards.
Sure, but it seems odd to be meeting strangers there.
I was had some talent before I learned anything. I was trying to fix my parents.
Look, kid, I sympathize. Buried my parents young, too. I was about your age.
She told me to take the book and read it and then bring it to Master Theo and tell him that it was from her and that she wanted to see him again. But I didn't tell him that. Maybe if I did before he was...
You can't go the rest of your life wondering what if.
But then he would have known about her sooner, before he was as
And if he had known about her
powerful
sooner,
as he is now.
if he would have known about her sooner, then Theo would probably already be dead. Turned into one of those things.
You think he would have become a vampire?
No, dear, I know that he would have become a vampire. When we had our last expedition, there is a small tree on the southwestern side of town. It's on top of a hill. It's where Theo buried her. Originally, at least. In his grief, Theo went there, looking for her. And he found her. And she killed him. We showed up and trying to chase Theo down this last time before this one. He was so pale. He wasn't breathing. All because you must have told him, didn't you?
Yes. I thought I had to tell him the truth.
You did.
See?
You did tell him the truth. You did good.
That...
But Theo has gone so far, Angelica.
That's why I need to talk to him.
I know.
I have to remind him of the things that he told me. And why I'm not a necromancer.
I understand. But dear, this is not your fault. If anything, Theo is still alive today because of you.
Maybe.
Not in spite of you.
For now.
You're brilliant. You know that, right? You keep even Maximilian on his toes. If you keep it up, one day you may even replace Larry Vergas and I. You have so much talent, Angelica. I mean that. And look, I know you don't. I know you don't have any parents or anything, but wherever I go, you always have a home, no matter what happens. Oliver's about your age. I raised him from the time he was just a kid. If you need help, just let me know. with anything.
We need to sort this out. You can't leave yet.
Okay. If you think so. Come on. Let me unpack some of this stuff, I guess. And Astor will kind of like swoop in the room and kind of perch herself on Angelica's shoulder.
Angelica gives a brief smile under the hood of her hair, just barely seen, and scritches under Astor's neck. She is quiet a moment, and then says, "It doesn't mean anything if you don't use it right. Talent."
Yeah, I know. Thaumatin is the god of all skilled labor, craftsmen, musicians. I'm glad to see that you have taken at least one lesson that I have tried to give you.
Is the Master Theo going to be awake soon?
I don't know.
Angelica will... Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I have already tried to kill him once today. He hurt the librarian in town. The little one, out by the gate. He was looking for her. It's been a few hours. I think Max persuaded him to come quietly. He'll probably be waking up soon. Should we go then?
Angelica looks like she's trying to put words into a sentence, and then just nods.
Seeing that she is distraught, John will cast Calm Emotions and say, would you like to relax? Or before he does so, he would say, would you like to relax just a minute?
Thank you, thank you.
Sometimes I start thinking things and I'm not sure how to express them out loud. The words don't fit, or I don't really know exactly what I'm trying to say.
I am not a wordsmith. Much like a hammer ringing against metal, my work is sometimes blunt. Is there something on your mind, dear?
Yes, but it can wait. I need to think about it more.
That's fine.
We should go talk with Master Theo. And the others.
On a better note, as we're kind of walking down the hall, you know, what school did you go to? Oliver's not that much younger than you. As we're just kind of like, that's like the trailing conversation as we're walking towards Theo. It's like trying to like not make her feel so shitty, basically.
To his death. You're about to talk to someone on their deathbed.
It might not be his deathbed. We don't know.
Lucian turns to the three of you and says, I'll take the rest of these to the library. Wow, I just screwed up a bunch of accents. This is what happens when I don't play D&D for a while. I'll take the rest of these to the library, where I will keep them free from Theodore's hand. If you need me for anything else, you know where to find me. And he'll take the last of the things that you have been gathering. Over the past few minutes, Theo has begun to move uncomfortably here and there. Not full consciousness, but just kind of slowly coming to. When Angelica steps into the room with John in tow.
Imagine Lark would be. This.
Lark, I think Lark said she put in chat what she's doing, but she is not helping with the Theo stuff.
Okay. Would this coincide with the 24 hours since we've last seen her name? Elena.
It's like midday of the day after we went to the Underdark, so no.
Yeah, it might be mid-afternoon, more likely at this point, or late afternoon.
Like 2-3 in the afternoon.
Yes. Yeah, so no.
You guys want to wait or give? I'll let Angelica speak with you. So I'll take the gag out of his mouth so they can have a conversation.
Angelica's gonna come to where Theo is and sit beside him, just kind of on the edge of the bed. He is still bound, though Maximilian has removed the gag, and he is slowly coming to. Angelica kind of places a hand on his shoulder and quietly, almost inaudibly, says, Master Theo, are you awake? Theo slowly nods, although his eyes remain closed. And he mouths something. You can any of you read lips?
I don't have the observant feat, but I am pretty passively perceptive.
You can at least...
We gag him?
Yeah, Maximilian said he removed the gag to speak with Angelica. You can see him say her name, although it's barely audible. I'm sorry. You told me once in Dockhaven. About the importance of knowing why you're using the magic that you are.
Oh, sorry.
He hoarsely and inaudibly tries to speak to her again. She leans in a little bit. I can't hear you. His voice cracks and croaks slightly, and she leans in a little more.
Max, we can't hear you, but I know you're screaming no.
Being in the background on purpose. That's me as a player.
Are you okay, Master Theo? Theo speaks quietly. Angelica is cocking her head to listen, not getting much closer. And slowly you watch as her pupils begin to dilate and her eyes widen. She starts to go paler than normal. And then rigid. The skin around her ear begins to necrotize and blacken.
Okay. Was Archie here? Could he sense that there was a spell going on?
Give me a perception check.
I'm not happy with this.
I understand.
Oh shit, I'm not in the VGT. Fuck. I'm sorry, I'm not in Foundry.
That's okay.
One second. Don't worry, Chad, I'm on it, Chad. Okay, joining game session. Oh, come on. I was in it and then I rolled it and then it was a nat 20. But it didn't go through. I probably have to re-roll, don't I, Mark?
Hold on, let me double check. Yes,
You
it didn't
you did not hit the table. Oh!
From a nat 20 to a natural 1, I am genuinely upset.
You're back with everyone else to give Angelica the opportunity to speak with Theo. He is whispering into her ear quietly, and the mask blinding your natural perception, only giving you the blind sight out to a certain distance. It is hard for you to tell exactly what is happening until you hear the other members of the dance reacting. Angelica, going stiff, begins to slump off of the bed. You hear her thump onto the floor. And then Theo starts to croakingly laugh.
All right, mate.
John is going to cast Healing Word on Angelica.
And Max cast something also.
Yes.
Hold on. I'm not done yet.
One thing
Got
at
it.
a time.
Right.
The spell magic.
Oh, that's right. John has an ability that when he casts spells, he can do certain things with his channel divinity.
Arcane cleric.
Yes.
I am going to cast Healing Word on Angelica and say, "What did you do? Angelica, get up." Does
Archie,
Theo do anything?
1 second. Archie, can I ask you a question? Your
Yes.
divine ability to see into the ethereal plane, is that always on?
Fuck. That's always on.
It's always on. Okay. I need to know that.
No. Do I see her ghost?
I will tell you what you see in a moment. I just needed to know if it was always on.
Yeah, well, I have to activate it, but I always set it mostly. Like, I can see blindside already, so.
Theo moves a number of his fingers, and then your healing word fizzles out.
As John sees that, he says only, "You motherfucker." And John is going to cast.
Hold on. Maximilian wanted to cast something. He would have had the opportunity to do it.
It's a cantrip. Healing
Understood.
Word is a bonus
right,
action.
yeah.
This is a cantrip.
You're right. You're right. Yes.
Archie, got any of them portents laying around?
I do. Are you sure you want to use that on a cantrip, though?
I'm gonna cast something. Well, it's up to you.
I am casting. Ooh, which one do I want to cast? I am casting Thormodin's Thunderous Hammer. And I am unmaking Theo.
Can you for story purposes, can you knock him unconscious? Because I want Max to take responsibility for this. Max said that if it ever comes to this, Max will do it.
John is outraged at this point because this is the second time that Theo has defied John in a matter of hours.
When you say
this is
you
how
are
I need to do this.
unmaking him,
He needs, that is a natural 20. I don't even need to unmake him.
okay. Unmaking him just makes it so that you automatically critical on your next hit. Is that correct?
For the next minute.
For the next
But
minute.
I rolled a natural 20.
Okay. He was at 1 hit point.
Yes.
Therefore,
and he is going to take 18. Excuse me. 2d6 plus 6. 18 plus 15 points of damage plus 19 points of thunder damage. So 18. Let me calculator this. I may just kill him instantly. 18 plus 15 plus 19 plus 14. 66. It'll be 68 points.
I think Theo may be around that HP.
okay.
To kill him instantly.
Yeah, that would probably kill him instantly. Since he was at like 1 HP.
Correct.
What's his max HP? 50 something?
I think it was like
Yeah.
66 the last time I checked.
Yeah.
I literally did enough to kill him
Nice.
instantaneously.
One hit point below. Or 1 hit point above it, sorry.
So not mechanically, here is what happens. Theo begins to coughingly laugh, kind of cackling almost. Like the lack of sanity laughter that you would expect to hear from someone who has gone off the deep end. John tries to heal Angelica, and Theo counters it because it is only somatic. He uses the movements of his fingers to counter the spell.
Oh, but he was bound.
Angelica leaned over him and probably broke the restraint, is what I'm assuming. He was trying to get Angelica to lean over so that he could have something to, like, move the restraint on his hands. That's why he was getting her to lean over.
Yes. John flips out in anger, in righteous wrath. He slams I'm assuming Thormodin's Thunderous Hammer channels through Revelation, correct?
It does.
Yes. So he raises Revelation into the air and brings it down in a thunderous arc of divine, radiant wrath, which breaks not only Theo, but the bed he is tied to.
Oh, come on. Not now.
At the moment that Theo let out that sort of very creepy laughter, Carson reached for his sword as well, but darted not towards Theo, but over towards Angelica, and has knelt down beside her and just, like, turned her over, scooped her up, has, like, one hand resting against her forehead, and the other hand tracing along the line of his sword, the very fine inlaid silver filigree of vines and inlay with some elvish script, and is casting from the blade itself, detect poison and disease.
Oh,
Does that matter?
Go ahead.
John might not have. Okay, well, I don't know if it matters at this point, because if Theo was starting to laugh, I would have cast Silence to prevent him from casting any verbal spells, which would have prevented thunder damage whatever. That's what I was gonna do. I only have 1 second level spell, and I was gonna prevent him from casting any spells.
Understood.
Dead.
You begin to cast Detect Poison and Disease from the blade over Angelica. As you do, the blackened skin on the side of her head that Theo whispered into, as your spell falls upon her, it begins to spread and necrotize further.
Don't Archie know what this is?
Archie, as you're looking into, like, you can see into the ethereal plane slightly.
Slightly.
There is a network of ethereal energy around Angelica's person. And as Carson's spell falls upon her, you can see from this network of energy strands of the weave appear for a moment on the ethereal plane and actually harm Angelica.
Stop.
Carson, you don't
The magic
detect...
is killing her.
You don't detect poison or disease, but you've seen this happen before. Once before. This is hag magic. This is a coven's spell.
What's wrong with it? I see so much happening in the weave itself.
I don't understand. This couldn't be possible. This would take a coven of hags working collaboratively to pull off this kind of. Archie, please tell me that you know some way to dispel this, to make it right.
Carson, give me a history roll using your class feature to see what you remember about the time you've encountered this in the past. What is your passive?
No.
His passive is going to be 14.
14.
Okay. All right.
You have
actually,
advantage.
You have advantage,
It'll
so
be
it's
19.
19. It's 19. Okay.
Oh.
Archie, you've never seen anything like this before, okay? And Carson, as you ask him if he knows how to undo this. And Archie, you can respond however you wish in that moment of like panicking over what's happening to her. But you've seen it before. You've said it's not possible, but you remember the place you've seen it. There was a village in the northern mountains where someone had gone back on a deal that they had made with a hag, and they were cursed in this way. There was you had discovered that there was a particular herb that can help with this. And you have some knowledge of where to find it. But in your travels, you've studied nature and herbalism, and being that you have some half-elf descent from Avelia Wood, did you learn that from your experiences, or did you learn that from your family?
From experiences.
Mm-hmm.
Some like extended family in the Avelia Wood, which is one of the first places Carson left. But specifically, he's going to like reach again for the sword and to the hilt, give it a twist, and pull it out and reveal that there is like a scroll case embedded on the inside of the hilt that's stuffed full of notes, and he's going to be like rummaging through and pulling out, looking for the piece of parchment that contains notes about this particular herb that can be beneficial.
You tried to help this girl in the village. You did what research you could on the herb that could help her. You discovered that it grows in one place. But back then, you were not experienced enough to penetrate the dangers of the ancient forest. Especially being alone.
This is a curse. As I said, it's typically hag magic, a coven working in unison. I don't think it's the kind of conventional curse that a simple use of a remove curse would be effective. I know, John, Archie, one of you might be able to apply it. It might do a little good to set it back. There is one thing I can do to try to buy us time. Well,
What?
there is a herb that grows in the ancient forest. If we're able to get that, that can abate the cure. Until then, and Carson's going to reach for the sword again, with sort of focus and clarity this time, going to actually speak the words to his Rite of the Dawn. Have like a single trickle of blood appear, bead down as the sword starts to glow from light. Hags think they're the only ones that can do their little trick, but I've learned a thing or two. And I'm going to step onto the ethereal plane and just try to drive the sword through this concentration of the curse and just have the light sort of shine back against this darkness to try to recede it a little bit from Angelica. Not to break the curse, but just to slow down its progression to buy us enough time to make the trip.
Can
Well, that was fucking cool.
Yeah.
That was fucking cool. I can see you too. I'm
Yep.
like, what
You
the
can-
fuck?
You can see Carson doing this on the ethereal plane.
Carson, I don't know if you can hear me, but I'm going to try something too. And I'm going to just place my hands on the strands that he's about to cut, and I'm going to try and suture them and try and siphon away the curse through those sutures through my remove curse at 4th level.
Okay. Carson. As you slash your blade across this network of energy, you can see it. You can see the ethereal form of your sword, kind of severing pieces of these strands of energy. But you cannot cut it away. It simply weakens it to some degree. You hope that in doing so, this will slow the process and give you enough time to get what Angelica needs to be freed of this. Archie, as you begin to use these sutures and channel the remove curse spell through them, you see that those same strands of the weave begin to glow upon the ethereal plane for a moment. And
When I meant the sutures, I meant those strands of ethereal.
yes,
Yes.
they do the same thing as Carson's spell had done before, and it is harmful to Angelica. However, you can see that with the weakening that Carson has laid upon it, with his blade, that the necrotic energy does not spread as far or as fast as the last time, as when Carson cast a spell upon Angelica.
Mm-hmm. Since no one can heal her without using magic, Archie will try to restore her with a medical kit.
You can give me a medicine roll with it.
Well, I can just make a 1 hit
Get
point.
the healer's kit.
Okay. Then she is stabilized at 1 hit point,
Yes.
not conscious.
Not conscious.
Okay. She is
Yeah.
not healed. The necrotic damage is still there. The curse is still upon her,
Yes.
but
yes.
she's not actively dying right now.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Archie's just full concentration, like taking a needle and like taking these threads, quickly wrapping them around, and then like using that. Even though it doesn't look like he's actually sewing the wound shut, he's kind of manipulating the necrotic energy to work in her favor for the time being in some way.
John looks at Maximilian.
Are there any remains left of Theo?
Oh yeah, he is
There
a
is
broken form burned with radiant energy.
Thunderous, but yes.
Yes,
Okay. Yeah.
Hit him with the radiant one.
he is a broken form, but he is still there.
It's like
I think,
popping a zit in a mirror.
Oh my God! Stop!
Jesus.
I hit him
Ah!
with a 50-pound anvil, probably in the head.
I just give John a look, like I'll take care of this. And if Lucian's still in the room, I'm gonna have him. I'm gonna ask him. Oh, he's not. He's coming. Oh yeah, he took the books away. I'm gonna try to grab servants to make funeral arrangements, like we did for Kurt. Build a pyre, so that I can burn Theo's body, so that he can never become undead. And I'm gonna take this on as like a solo endeavor, because Theo did way too much damage to have like a proper funeral.
Okay.
This is going to be like a quiet one-person funeral.
Okay.
And it's just me presiding over Theo. And if possible, actually, I want to catch Lucian to see if I can grab who has the Hag book?
Lucian.
Lucian? Okay, I'm going to grab the Hag book from Lucian and try to burn it with Theo.
Okay. You say that you'll take care of this, and you wrap Theo's body in the sheets of his bed and start carrying him out of the room.
Boy, the Danse has a bad track record with people laying in beds.
Angelica, after Archie administers what healing he can, and Carson administers what protections he can, you place Angelica in her rooms, in her bed, making her as comfortable as possible. We will take a short break. We'll be right back.
Kill Angelica.
Bun has gotten involved in some kind of culinary endeavor, and I think that he is committing some act of pyromancy. So we're going to continue without him for now. That was awesome, Johnny.
It's guac. That should explain it, right?
Yes, that completely explains it. Oh, God. You have made Angelica comfortable. You have... Maximilian has removed himself from everyone's presence with Theo's body. And... Carson, you have what few notes that you kept in your scroll case in regards to this herb in question. It is
John, I turn to you as acting lead alongside Locke.
Yeah.
The only place we will be able to obtain the herb that I need to help Angelica would be inside of the ancient forest itself. It would be risky for me to go alone. Even with my elven heritage, there are some there who would not welcome me. And there are a great many dangers beyond just the elves themselves that lurk within the heart of that forest. But I would not wish to divert manpower away from the city. Do you think we would be able to assemble a team that could make a journey to the forest to acquire this herb without weakening the reserve force that has been left here in Lord Arthur and Lady Bear's absence?
I will not let that waste of flesh murder Angelica in vain. We will be diverting a team immediately. Pack your things. You're leading this one.
It would be several days' journey to get there by carriage. If you have the resources and the ability to...
Where? You said in the woods. I can get us as far as Dragon Guard Keep.
That should do. Once we are in the territory, I can take the lead.
You're sure these herbs cannot be found anywhere else? I can also take us to Drayan. I know that the Coriel forest is down that way, right?
It is. The elves of Coriel, they live in much the same way as the elves who still cling to the legend of Thariel, but the heart of the ancient forest houses many wild plants, the kinds of things that cultivate through hardship in an environment full of dangerous predators. There are things that grow in the ancient forest and nowhere else for that exact reason.
It appears there are things that grow even in the city, too. Wretched things.
These have been times of hardship. But there are things of great beauty and worth that grow in trying times, too. I agree with you. We must not let his last act be to rob a young woman of her life. I will tend to my things, gather what I need.
I want you to come with me, real quick. Come on.
Of course.
I'm going to go try to track down Lumiere.
Okay. Lumiere. You find Lumiere out in the garden. He is... he's planting.
Lumiere, you have met Carson, yes?
Lumiere stands and dusts his... pulls a pair of gardener's gloves off. Nods.
A pleasure to meet somebody else with a green thumb.
To be fair, I didn't know he had one.
It's more black than green, but I'm trying to learn.
It seems like that should be something you would be capable of, if I'm not mistaken. Change being very much of your nature. It is a pleasure to meet you.
Come inside. We have to speak immediately.
He nods.
I'm going to take him to Lady Beatrice's office.
Okay. What's so urgent?
Theodore is dead. I killed him. Angelica is very sick. He did something to her. I can't fix it.
Are you sure he's dead?
Have you ever seen a man torn completely in two?
Yes, I have.
Do these men usually put themselves back together?
Pity. I would have liked my blade to get a taste. What did he do to the girl?
I don't know.
I've only seen such a curse as this one applied once before. That was by a coven of hags. I am not sure how we acquired the knowledge to apply such a curse, but Archie has helped me to weaken its grasp upon her, to buy her enough time. There is a herb that can help, a brew that I will be able to create from it, refining its curative properties. It grows only in the ancient forest, unfortunately, so we will need to seek it out there.
You have used medicines and such as in the past, yes? Yeah.
Poisons mostly.
Are you some sort of alchemist? Can you brew potions as a poisoner?
No. No, it's not the same.
Afraid. I had hopes that you may be able to help. As such. You're going to be in charge here. The rest of us are leaving.
You put so much trust in me.
I don't have a choice. I know you to be a good man. And a good father.
You do what you have to do to save this girl.
The poisons you have made in the past. Is there anything that would be useful for the things that lurk in the woods? And how quickly could you make them?
I don't know much about the woods, to be honest. What's there?
Fey creatures. Elves.
Trolls. Trolls can often be a problem. I have some skill with alchemist supplies. Perhaps if you were able to lend me a hand, we could produce some vials of acid. I know that tends to be very effective against that kind.
I'll offer all the help that I can. Of course. Fey creatures, I'm not sure what poison would do to them, but cold steel does plenty. As far as elves, they're as mortal as you or I or, well, or Carson here. He takes note of the ears, obviously.
I don't know how long we're going to be gone. Or if we'll ever even come back.
Oh, you'll come back. You have to.
I know. We are going someplace I have never been before. Isolation.
You'll make it. You won't actually be alone.
That's the part that concerns me.
May Thomedin guide you in this.
Please take care of Angelica while we're gone.
I'll do the
I
best
don't know
that
that-
I can.
I don't know that she'll be conscious. But you should talk to her.
All right.
If anything goes wrong, your immediate instruction is to go to the Temple of the Solemn Night
And
and have the matron there send me a sending. And you are to fall back and retreat to Darkhaven.
that I can do.
There's a tiefling woman there named Joy.
We met.
You remember?
Yes.
And
I
Mother
don't
O'Galvin.
forget faces.
I didn't know if you had met Joy. I apologize. That is my sister. Then send for them.
Understood.
We may need help if things go horribly wrong. I will be in contact with Lady Beatrice as soon as possible. Protocol be damned, we're leaving.
Hopefully they'll be home soon.
Keep the recruits training on spells.
Oh, I'll keep them training. If there's one thing I can do, it's that.
That's fine. Is there anything you want from me in my absence?
Just make sure no one does anything stupid and gets themselves killed.
I understand. Carson, I will see you shortly. I would like to have a private word with Lemire.
I will be in my room. As I said, I will see if I can synthesize some acid.
That works fine. Perhaps you two should meet up later this afternoon. Collective knowledge put together.
Happy to.
Till next I see you. And Cousin will sort of like bow his head respectfully to both of them and head to his room, start assembling his alchemist supplies, get all the alembics and calcinators going, and start trying to synthesize some acid.
Understood.
As Carson leaves, John locks the door behind him to make sure that this conversation is not interrupted. Miss Avala has been told that they're in grave danger. She told me of something that your former employer was looking for.
My former employer was looking for a lot of things. John, you'll have to be more specific.
I don't know much about it. I'm looking for clues. Shield, maybe. Very old. Made in the Age of Dragons. Do you remember anything?
There were a number of things that Nathaniel had asked me to seek to procure for him. I think a shield was one of them, yes.
What did he want it for?
You have to remember I was his thrall, not someone he imparted plans to.
I understand.
What I know?
I also understand that you are more resourceful than you let on.
True. He impressed their importance upon me. I think I remember that. That being the case, I remember being told to acquire them for... as if I represented a collector. So he wanted his purpose to be secret.
Then it is as I suspect, probably. That is fine.
He likely wanted it for some dark purpose.
Well, we are headed to Dragon God Keep. I will find out what Dragon Iron can be used for there, hopefully. Dragon is in the name.
If anyone would know, perhaps it's them.
Do you remember any of the places you have been? When you were under Nathaniel's employ? Those would be good leads.
I'll start looking into them. Trying to remember what I can. Come up with a list.
John's going to kind of look through Lady Beatrice's, shelf, basically. Does she have, she's a divination wizard like Archie. Does she have, empty journals that she might use for, a dream journal or a vision journal that I can give to Lumiere to write in so that he is documenting? I remember docks. I don't know where the docks were, but I remember docks.
Right.
I was in a city in a tall building. There were lots and lots of stairs, but I don't remember where this building was. So even if he gets
partial things, right? Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
You can totally do that.
So that he's at least writing these things down.
Mm-hmm.
So that if what John fears is occurring, we can either relay that information to the Dark and Hungry God group, and they can start trying to intercept some of the things that the demon lords may be after.
Yep. Okay. He will...
Big brain shit. Big brain shit.
He will take the journal to begin work on it. I hope that you find what you need quickly and get back here.
Me too. Young woman's life lays on the line.
Indeed it does. Good luck.
I'm gonna stay in here, collect my thoughts for a bit. I guess I do run this show at least for the next 24 hours.
You should get some rest in preparation for travel.
I should. But I think I'm just gonna have a drink. And try and collect my thoughts.
Take your time. And, Lumiere will leave you to yourself.
I will lock the door after he leaves. And I'm going to look at the trap door that I saw with my ethereal vision. Or not ethereal, my true sight previously. I just need to see if it's like a door out of here, if this is like an alternative escape route, or if this is a more private storage receptacle. If it's something more private, John isn't going to pry. But if it's an escape route out of the building and is hidden, that may prove useful if things go poorly while we're gone. So, what is it? You can relay this information to me later if you hadn't considered me going to look to see what this thing actually is.
You open the trapdoor, and you find a tunnel.
How far down does the tunnel go?
Like straight down?
I mean, I have 180 or 120 feet of dark vision.
Yeah.
So
it goes down about probably 100 feet. Straight down.
Okay. Can I see anything at the bottom? Is there a ladder or anything?
It is a square opening large enough for one person to go down at a time. And there are it is made, right? It is like cinder block or stone, okay? And there is a metal ladder that is like embedded in the wall of this like hole down into the like deep into the foundation of the building. And at the bottom you can see that it is stone. It is not like a dirt floor. It is like built, purposeful.
Well, let's pour myself a drink and see how deep this rabbit hole goes. And we can cut away, but John is going to head into the hole, pour himself a drink from Lady Beatrice's stash, and see what the fuck is in the bottom of this hole.
Okay. Maximilian, I know what you're doing. What is... Carson, you're making vials of acid at this point. Archie, what are you doing? in preparation for a possible journey to the ancient forest.
What was done with Theodore's body?
Maximilian took it away.
Or would it follow Maximilian?
I think Maximilian explicitly requested for nobody to come with him. Is that true, Johnny? You're eating, so you can just nod if you need.
I think my thought of it is that Theo's done too much damage for me to display any outright.
So where are you taking Theo? Where have you taken Theo?
Probably the same spot where we cremated.
Okay. You, Archie, you don't follow Maximilian, but you figure he's gone to the same place that Kurt was cremated, and you find you find him there, just kind of silently setting Theo upon a pyre.
Is anyone taking... Wait, before I leave to find Maximilian, is anyone taking care of Angelica at the moment?
Angelica has been placed in her room, like comfortably in her bed. But she has been left there. So if you have anything
I would definitely... Never mind. I would definitely just stay at her side and
okay.
Just kind of like twisting the ring of mind shielding around Archie's finger. Just... that is... Why did I give so many answers?
Are you alright, Archie?
No.
You seem worried.
Someone... I don't believe you can see what's happened here, can you?
I can communicate with you telepathically, but I can't see through your eyes.
Theo has perished and he has tried to take Angelica down with him. He, in his last moments, shared the same cruelty that she once did.
I'm so sorry.
I thought we were so close to having us able to put down on the ground, and it crumbled down beneath us just like that. I don't even know if I can go watch his corpse burn, knowing that I tried to defend him. Susan, I don't know how to bring you back without the... I don't know how to help Angelica. But and I don't know if I should, if we should leave Raven's Reach, but I know that we must go save her at least. Surely maybe John can find some answer, but He was no longer able to help us. And in a way I failed him. And I know he made his decisions, but at every point, there was a chance I could have stopped him. And I shouldn't ruminate on that. But if I don't think about it, then I don't remember. I don't consider it for the future. None of this really makes sense, and I'm kind of in a state right now, but it's good to at least have you here with her. And if you'd like, I can give you to her, and maybe, just maybe you can comfort her, wherever her mind may be.
If you think it will help.
She has no one. Maybe John, maybe Bia, but we're going to be away, and if she needs someone right now, and I think it would help. I'm going to take, I'm going to say, another dangerous mission awaits me, and it's going to be something that might help Angelica. At that time being, I won't be able to hear from you, and you won't be able to hear from me, I think.
Archie,
Yes?
is she dying?
I look back at her with the ethereal sight. Is there like a silhouette of her sort of rising ever so faintly?
Yes. What will happen to me if she dies while she's wearing the ring?
The ring has to be empty for a soul to be contained in it. I don't ask of you to make such a sacrifice lightly. I don't ask of it from you at all. I just wish that you can comfort her. You both have your lives to live. And if I could, I would make, I will, I wish I could make that more than just one could fit in that ring. Archie could, no, only one could fit in that ring. Archie couldn't change that at all.
Yep. Only one can fit in the ring.
One mind, one body. Susan, I ask you make no promise.
I'll stay with her, if that's all you're asking for.
That's all I ask for. And I shall put the ring on Angelica's hand, or upon a finger, and then I'm going to cast Dream, targeting Susan as the messenger, so that at least Angelica could have some moment of reprieve.
Are you trying to cast Dream upon Angelica?
Yes, and has Susan as the messenger.
When you do so, it causes the same.
Oh right, no, fuck, yeah,
Yeah.
the magic.
That's okay. If that was a
No, I
lapse,
would.
if that was a bun lapse
That was
and
a
not an
lapse of
Archie
memory because I
lapse, yeah,
went cooking. Yeah.
yeah, that's fine. Then you
Yeah.
don't. I will say that you didn't cast Dream, because if that was a
Mhm.
bun lapse and not an Archie lapse, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hopefully she can
she doesn't have to
channel through
cast
into it.
anything. There's no magic that has to be cast for it to communicate. Like,
Yeah,
do you know
yeah.
what
I
I'm
just don't
saying?
know what the prerequisites for her to be able to talk to.
Yeah,
Um,
that's
I
fair.
don't know if it even works, but at least she'll have Susan there upon waking. And then I've been untuned to the item,
Okay.
and I
As a
just sit there.
uh, as an aside, um, the Susan never said what she would do if Angelica was to die while the ring was on her.
I know.
So you're kind of left without a real answer in that regard. But the question hovers silently in the room as you look back at the ring of mind shielding on Angelica's finger. Her very cold finger.
Archie's hands aren't warm, but he just puts his chitinous hands around Angelica's and just waits there, knowing that John will need to contact Beatrice soon.
Okay.
So as Carson has left John and Lumiere in Lady Bird's office, is just going to sort of walk down the hall and catch sight of Archie just sort of like finishing up in Angelica's room, just like tentatively knock on the open doorway. Are you doing okay?
Archie just turns, and there's no stars in those eyes of theirs. It's hollow and empty. Yes.
I wanted to thank you for your assistance. I'm not sure if I could have managed it on my own. I think
No, you were. Without you, I couldn't have been able to even manipulate those strings of fate.
I think I'm not the best at learning when there isn't a visual aid. But seeing you work the strands in the way that you did, I think it makes a little bit more sense to me now why they call it the weave. I think, for my own mind, it might help me to think of it more as like a plant. The roots. This curse has dug its roots down into Angelica and is leeching the life from her. So we need to go and create some arcane weed killer, as it were. I was going to set up my alchemist supplies. I can produce some oil of vitriol. Might be handy if we run into some trolls in the forest. And they are unlikely to view me particularly kindly there. half human is very much the term they will use. I understand you are different to them, but you were once upon a time a full-blooded elf. You know their tongue. It might help for you to assist me if we have to engage socially with any wardens we run into in the forest.
I don't even remember a single second of being what was before this, but I will help where I can. Tell me, how long do you have left? Can you tell?
Thanks to you, long enough, it would seem. It's
That
the progression.
makes a tear form in Archie's eye.
It slowed the progression, at least for the next several days, and we will have people keeping an eye on her and contact us if her condition should worsen. But for now, we must look to what is ahead of us. I understand I am asking a great deal of you to leave the city, a place that you have come to find comfort in, and head somewhere where even some of the bravest souls in Oregon would not dare to tread. But I am sure that such an experienced member of the Danse Macabre will rise to the challenge.
You say experience, I say trauma, but I suppose that they're both hand in hand.
Tomato, tomato, as it were.
I should apologize for trying to stop you and John. I should have known that part of me thought you were both right.
I owe you an apology also. I accused you of being too emotionally close to the issue and I did not apply that same reasoning to myself. I did not see him as a person and a friend to you and an ally in the dance. I saw him as the kind of person that took my brother from me. You were not wrong to want to defend him, and I hope that is not the lesson that you have taken from this.
Well, I appreciate that.
The motto of the dance is laid out in a very particular fashion. The last line is unfortunately the one we had to invoke in Theo's case. He had gone too far, progressed towards the darkness, and there was nothing we could do. But there is a reason that is the last line. It is, as you said, that we should do everything within our power before it comes to that.
So, Johnny, how you doing?
That was such perfect timing. His mouth is so full of food when you asked him that. He's got chipmunk cheeks worth of food.
I did it on purpose.
Johnny's just sorry, not Johnny. Yeah, Maximin's just smoking a full drag and just throws it into the fire. Just fuck you.
What's
God,
Max
the
up?
I mean, you looked the way I looked after getting my wisdom teeth out. That's all.
Big true. Big true.
I think after Max finishes setting up the pyre and laying Theo's covered body on it, he's not going to say any words. He's just going to lament the loss of a friend And he doesn't blame Theo, he blames the necromancy. Um, it, it, he's, Max thinks he's not wrong to have been hopeful that it was the necromancy's fault, and if we could have removed the necromancy as a factor, Theo would have been their friend still. But yeah, with that, he's gonna light the pyre on fire, and at its peak, he's gonna throw in the book from the hag's spell book that cursed Theo, because that's where Max thinks that Theo learned that spell that cursed Angelica. And I'm gonna make sure that nobody gets their hands on it.
As the book hits the pyre, there is a barely audible scream as it begins to burn. Not one you just hear, but one you can feel.
I say good riddance to that. That's what corrupted Theo. And I don't know if this is something we have lying around, because death in the dance is so common, but I want to scoop up Theo's ashes at the end of this, put it in an urn.
Point of clarity. It's going to be days before that is over.
Oh, okay.
Have you ever had a bonfire like a bonfire you could burn a human being in? Even like a bonfire you couldn't burn a human being in, the coals are hot for fucking days.
Then I'll have, maybe by the time we get back, I can sweep his ashes into an urn.
Did you, I sent you a message, Johnny.
Oh, okay, yeah. Fuck, I forget which one it is. As I'm watching the book burn and Theo with it, I say out, because I say out into the ether, if any gods are listening. I make a vow. What vow? It's not enough to say it, to destroy the world of evil. Max would say, he would make a vow in light of what happened to Theo, that no harm's gonna befall the rest of the members of the dance. Kurt and Theo and John's teams he's gonna do his very best to make sure that they're the last.
You stand before the pyre and make a promise that you will prevent any other members of the dance to fall to this type of corruption. And you feel a powerful sense of purpose and strength in that.
Do I recognize it from which one of the 8 has answered? Or do I just, one of them, do I feel like one of them's answered, or do I feel like I know which one answered?
It's you. It was in you all along.
Yeah, but is this like the Undertale thing of it's you or it's me?
It's Robin. It's Robin, but the answer was specifically new phone. Who dis?
Besides the comedy act. Which?
I did make a valve protection, which I feel like is very much in Orad's work.
Yes, I'm gonna say that you definitely, you feel that sense of purpose and power, and you feel that same feeling you would feel when Riltar would give you encouragement. And there is a warmth like when you're a kid and you first go outside and touch grass after like a sunny morning, and it's warm even though you expect it to be cold. Like you get that kind of a feeling of something warmed by the sun.
Just for a brief second, Max lit the pyre on fire with his flaming sword, and the flames of the sword go from like red flames to a little bit white, as if it's like a purifying flame of Orad. And Max continues with his oath to protect the Danse. While the Danse protects this world from evil, in turn, I return.
You have taken on the first tenant of a set of oaths, Maximilian.
One of them. Paladins go through like 5.
I know.
3.
Yeah, it's 3. It's 3. Yep. And you have taken on the first. John, as you get to the bottom of the tunnel and turn towards the open hallway 100 feet below the basement of Tyminster Court, you see in the distance a door made of metal, carved with runes. Glowing with layers of arcane protection. Maybe it's a back door. Maybe it's a vault. Maybe it's
Maybelline.
Maybe it's Lady Bia's secret wardrobe. Maybe you'll find out what's in it, or whether you look or not, next time we play the Danse Macabre. I think we will end it there tonight, so that we don't get too far ahead of Lark.
Yeah.
Before you all head out for
the
Ancient Forest. I know it was a shorter session, but again, I don't want to get too far ahead of our missing party member. I hope you all had fun.
Oh, yes.
This was a very character developing adventure.
Mm-hmm. Also, we get to go outside of Ravenreach again.
Yes. Let's do some favorite moments.
The Ancient Forest, is that the one? Is that the place that Rilta went to?
Yes. It was the place he is heading. Although, if you come from the side of Drakengard
Keep,
Keep,
from the south, not from the east,
you'll be coming from the opposite direction, and the forest is huge, like miles and miles and miles.
It's 480 miles from Drakengard Keep to Ironstone Hall in one direction, and like 450 of that is the forest.
Or 2 days ride by underground roller coaster.
Yes.
I will tell you from one end of the forest.
We can't see what you're showing, Mark.
I'm
on
not.
stream,
I'm
but,
not showing it.
That's right.
To all of you, I'm just telling you that like it is almost
600 miles.
600 miles, the long way, like from furthest point to furthest point.
Think about it this way: it's a 600-mile diameter, or alternatively, a 300-mile radius circle, basically.
Yes.
Of forest.
Yes, that is correct.
Real fucking big. Real fucking big.
For reference, that means it is 3 times the distance from one end of the forest to the other that it is from Ravenreach to Geneva.
Yeah. And it's even worse because the forest will be difficult terrain compared to the road.
Correct.
So,
in any event,
yeah.
Let's do some favorite moments. Bun, what was your favorite Archie moment?
Oh man, the hardest decision in Archie's life to give the ring to Angelica, knowing that Susan was wanting like to have another chance at life, but also has attachment to Angelica, and like they know that this is probably the worst decision that they're gonna make for themselves and for Angelica, for Susan. But one of the best things that they can do to save Angelica. And I don't think Archie's ever made a harder decision in their entire D&D sort of career.
Others? Favorite Archie moments?
Yeah, I loved that whole scene of Archie sort of sat at Angelica's bedside and talking to Susan inside the ring and just trying to get across this point of like, what we're going to do is dangerous and there's no guarantee it's going to succeed. And I'm asking you to stay here and comfort her because we can't and we need somebody. And it's like, I trust you with this. And Susan then like posing that question of like, but what happens to me if she dies wearing the ring? And Archie just being so like torn in so many directions at once. That was just a really great scene.
They were so torn. They were like, fuck. It really was the whole fucking two routes with the fucking, what is it called, the tram line sort of like thing, the tram line theory thing.
Trolley problem.
Like the trolley problem.
I like the removing the curse, Archie removing the curse on Angelica and delaying the necrotizing.
Yeah. Oh man, that was such a cool duo moment with Archie and Carson. Oh, what a power move! Just be like, okay, I'm going to the ethereal plane. It's like, oh.
That too, being able to see the strands, the webs in the air.
Yeah. We don't have Scarlet, so we're gonna go to Max, I think.
Yeah. I will say real quick that I think that was my favorite Archie moment too. I know I'm piggybacking off of everybody else, but I would have to agree that like especially discussing especially the discussion like David said of like what happens to Susan and Archie, like being like, I'm not asking you to do that if it comes to that. Like, I'm not asking you to sacrifice yourself if it comes to that.
But the thing is that, like, deep down, Archie knows that she'd do it. And that's what kills him.
Yeah. Johnny, your favorite Maximilian moment?
I think making sure that Theo gets a funeral. Yeah, that's my favorite moment.
Damn, technically you were the only one at Theo's funeral.
Yeah, which is kind of, in a sense, like poetic.
It's so poetic. I'm glad I left that only for Max.
Damn it,
I'm the only
Maximilian,
one.
put that fire out!
It's echoing in the distance. Curse you,
That was-
Maximilian.
That was the scream you heard coming from the book.
It's just the depressing season finale to the sitcom Odd Couple, where they used to be living in the apartment together.
Oof.
Maximilian, old, like former Maximilian, like pre all of the stuff that's been happening. Maximilian would have
When
been
the two
standing there
plucky,
and been
funny
like,
side characters-
"Poor Theo, he died so old." Like,
when those two plucky side characters have to like either like bury one another. It's like, fuck, this show got dark.
but my favorite Maximilian moment was swearing the oath, swearing a vow.
What oath is that? Which one is that? Which one is it?
So far, I
it could
think
be
it probably
anything.
so far it
Crown,
aligns.
devotion, watcher.
Probably
I think
the closest
glory.
to devotion is probably the closest right at this moment.
At this
Because
moment,
he's like
yes.
he's sworn himself to devote to the dance that he's not going to let this happen ever again.
yeah. And
But
I mean, we'll let it. I think it's cool to let it develop naturally.
Yeah.
And like this was the first time that Maximilian has like made an oath like this, like where it's an actual tenet of like, this is my purpose in being a paladin, is to prevent something like this from happening to anyone else ever again. And like, it's so lofty, it's so much loftier than Maximilian has ever like attempted to devote. Like, it's such a loftier idea than anything Maximilian has wanted to devote himself to before, that like it sticks out as like a paladin oath specifically. And I think letting it naturally develop, even if at the end the three tenets that end up being chosen, that you end up choosing for Maximilian, don't add up to a particular oath that's already in existence, like, we'll make a fucking oath that fits. Like, we'll figure it out.
It could still be oath of treachery.
Oath of Glory kind of fits Maximilian before all the trauma. Also, I feel like wanting to be this like this
Oath
great.
Glory, like being more like a peerless athlete, like Greek god.
I am far less interested in mechanically what oath it ends up
I'm more
being.
interested in seeing Max swear a fucking oath.
Yes,
Like,
exactly.
yeah.
I'm far more interested in the character development of Maximilian. That was a really great developmental moment, like character developing moment for Max. Any others?
Nope, mine was swearing the oath 100%. That bittersweet, like, fuck this, not again. Like not angry, not jaded, just
Optimistic.
like just disappointed, where it's like, no, not again. Like,
And again, I just think it's a really neat contrast that speaks to like the history of the character, that he's making it like so plain and stating his opinion of like, it's not that you were a necromancer, because you were a necromancer from the moment I met you and you were good. It's this hag that got into you, and that's the seed, the corruption that spread from there. That's the kind of thing I need to not let happen again. In contrast to like how my character is so like, well, he's a necromancer, so he's clearly evil. It's just good to see some nuance.
David, favorite Carson moment?
As like a moment to like visualize the aesthetic of like, there's something I can do to help. Give me 1 second. Step into the ethereal plane. And just start like shining light on these like dark tendrils of the curse. And then how well Archie like tying into that, and tying that back to like Archie's been giving Carson lessons in like the weave and the arcana, and it's basically just like, I'm a kinesthetic learner. I learn by doing.
Yeah, That's valid. It's like Archie's like, yeah, you're valid. But yeah, I'm really glad that like exploring magic in D&D and its interpretations is the most cool thing you can fucking do. It's fun. It's so much fun because it's exactly up to so much interpretation and so much like like I think Artificer is just one of the many good examples that magic isn't absolute in its design. It's not just like, oh, I fucking move in a certain fashion and instantly make it viable. No, it's about intricate things. It's about maybe personality, about your emotional states, maybe about your I guess power systems are just fun in every single fantasy setting, I suppose. But yeah, I really enjoyed that. Yeah. John?
Two. I have two moments that I really, really enjoyed.
I think I know one of them.
One is like, oh, you just killed the girl that I told I would adopt. Now you die. Natural 20. Like,
Poetic justice.
That is.
like, I told Angelica,
poetic.
I will adopt you. You have no parents. I understand what it's like. I understand you technically could be on your own, but you'll always have a home wherever I'm at. Oh, Theo kills her. You will die.
Mhm.
And it is like, and then the second favorite moment is John taking people into the office, doing all the things that he needs to take care of. Where it's like, okay, let's get Lumiere up to speed. Let's get Carson up to speed. Let's get everybody on the same page. But while I'm here, let's see how deep this rabbit hole really goes. And I'm just like, let's see what's behind door number 1. And like, I'm in the basement now, and it's like, well, clearly there's something going on here.
Conspiracy theory.
Technically, you're in the sub basement.
Yes. So I get to ask, I get to either press on, but I don't have any spells to assist me, or I get to ask, or I could ask Lady Bia some very uncomfortable questions when given the opportunity.
Yeah. You just run into you just like burst through the door like as me and fucking Carson are like having a solemn moment over Angelica, and it's like, oh Archie, holy fuck, cast dream on me right now. I have some words that I need to say.
And see, the thing about it is John's not going to tell you guys about this. Like,
Yeah, it's I sort of appreciate the sort of symbolism that's at play with him like making this like physical descent down to like dig out and find out and root out the secrets that are down there, because that's so much of like the sort of spiral almost that John's been in since coming back from the Underdark, is just this sense of like all these secrets that need to be uncovered, and it's just he's got no more time for anybody's bullshit.
I enjoyed taking away the easy solutions of like, we'll just use magic to solve this.
I loved it. I fucking loved it. You have no clue. I fucking loved every minute of it.
That was my
like,
favorite thing. That was my favorite DM moment today, was like making it so that the thing that the dance primarily relies on, which is magic, be the worst possible thing to use in that situation.
It's good. I love it.
I loved it. I absolutely. I don't think there are words that can describe how much I fucking loved. Like, no, you can't just magic your way out of this. Like,
A beholder would be so out of field to fight, but I'd love to find one.
There are supernatural things at play here that are beyond the realms of magic that you cannot control. Like, you have to do this some other way, basically, right? Like, super good.
I also like the tension building up to it. Like the second Angelica leans in to listen to what Theo is saying. I'm like, excuse me, ma'am. Ma'am.
Ma'am, you are breaking social distancing protocol. Ma'am, are you wearing a mat? Ma'am? Ma'am?
Yeah. Theo literally just cast COVID-19 on Angelica. That's what happened.
No.
Oh no.
He cast COVID-26. Because it's 1826 instead of 2019. You're welcome.
Yes, Emmy, you're welcome. I did to a whole party what I have done to you in the past.
Well, that's only because we're your favorite party in all of Warden.
Oh, God.
Sips tea loudly.
I mean, that'd be fun because then if you take away all our magic, then Archie's basically now the pseudo healer.
It's going to be real hard to be doing healer's kit sutures with backwards thumbs, though.
Oh, good lord.
Oh, right, yeah.
Pat, why would you say something so controversial yet so bold?
Yet so bro.
David,
So mad.
David, I rate that joke 2 thumbs backwards, by the way. Anyway,
I'm not caught up, but it sounds terrible.
So Scarlet.
Long ago now, Emmy had her warlock character, and I had her warlock pact which was a fiendish warlock pact, get bought out by the Rakshasa that they had just defeated.
Killed.
They had just killed and sent to hell. Or not killed, defeated. He got away. He escaped, and then he bought the contract for her pact, and then proceeded to torment her every chance that he got by trying to turn her against her own party as much as possible. And therefore,
to varying levels of comedic effect, I might add.
And therefore, as often as possible, we like to remind Emmy that story arc was great.
God.
It was.
I was just imagining turning the tiger with his hands backwards, doing that same fucking gesture.
Yes.
That's what we do too. Yeah. Yeah, that's how it works. I really appreciated not having magic be our solution. I appreciated how much I got to talk to Angelica before she has to go away for a while. Like, that sucked.
Thank her.
Well, good. I had fun being a DM tonight. Tonight was a great game. So, thank you.
Scarlet, I would like to apologize when you watch this, as you undoubtedly will, for the absolute Pandora's box that we have opened in getting Angelica basically killed, finding out that there are deep mysteries to the dance that nobody has been telling us about, and that Theo is dead.
And Angelica isn't killed; she's in a soap opera coma.
Yes, that's true. That's true. Also, I would like to thank Johnny for the unintentional DM moment where I didn't have to convince anybody that like there was a reason that Theo was ungagged, because he literally just took the gag out of his mouth. So thank you very much. Thank you very much for picking up my light work. I appreciate it. It helped a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Because to me, it very much felt like these are Theo's last moments, and like okay, now is the time to state your case about why we shouldn't kill you.
Yeah.
And immediately it went south.
Immediately gave you a reason to kill him. But yes.
I said this off stream or off camera or whatever, but this is the only time I have ever seen I've seen a DM kill player characters by exceeding their negative maximum hit points. This is the first time I have ever seen a player kill something by exceeding its negative maximum hit points, because holy shit.
You know why that is, though, right? It's because you never played in a game with Steven.
That's fair. But yeah, like, that was insane. I've literally never had that happen before. And I didn't do it with a fucking paladin. Like, that's the obvious, like, oh, you do this with a paladin. Like,
No.
Or a rogue.
yeah, cleric bitches.
You're still playing a cleric wrong. Like, I can't believe you have something other than healing
Other than
spells.
healing spells prepared. Are there any healing cantrips I can take, Mark?
No.
Oh. Are
Anyway.
we sure? Are we sure?
This is what happens when we only get to, like, play once a week, is that we have to not only play D&D, we have to roast all the other games that came before.
That's fair.
Can we like homebrew a healing version of like the opposite of vicious mockery, where it's just like group therapy? I can only heal psychic damage, but it would be really, really handy to have.
Only psychic damage. That makes it against it, yeah.
For external wounds, the healer feat. For internal wounds, Jack Daniels. Excuse me, it's James Ray instead of Jim Beam.
We can name it. We can name a cantrip Preacher's Hindering Hit Point. It just heals a single hit point as a cantrip. And it has to be. It can only be to someone. It can only be. It's a full action spell, and it can only be to someone who has more than half their hit points already.
Hit points.
Oh God.
That's okay, Emmy. I've always seen you as odd.
Oh my God. Really?
Well, I mean, Dio's under something. Wink, wink.
All right. Before this train really leaves the station, why don't we say our goodnights? And
Good night, everybody.
stop burning a game that's already dead. Good night, everybody.
Stop! It's already dead.
This has been the Danse Macabre, and we'll see you when we see you. Next Tuesday, Dark and Hungry God will be here.
Do it.
See you later.
Do it now.
Do it. Good night, everybody.
By the way, we're gonna probably set up a raid, so hang out in the chat.